Hi, I'm Jensen.
And I'm Tende, and today we're going to talk about why we chose this small but growing county to root our construction company.
So let's talk a little bit about how we found ourselves in Alamance County. And Tende, you are from South Africa. And coming from South Africa, how did you find yourself here?
It's funny that you should ask this because you are literally the reason why I'm here. But yeah, so we met 2015. In Cape Town, South Africa. That's where at that point I was attending a church and studying, and you were also studying abroad, but you really were.
Studying really hard.
And we met there, and now fast forward to being in Alamance County. And before then, I didn't even know what Alamance County was. Literally was asking you, how far is that from New York? How far is that from Florida? Where is Alamance County? And you had to try and explain it to me.
And sell you on it. So at the time, I was a student at Elon University, which is homed here in Alamance County in Elon, North Carolina. And I was a senior at the time when we started kind of dating long distance. And you came this side for an internship in Greensboro, just down the road, 30 minutes or so. And I had just graduated and was living and working in Graham. And from there, it was kind of the battle of saying, all right, where do we want to start life together? And as we're kind of getting into small business, where do we want to grow small business together?
We've been in Alamance County for the last 10 years, Graham for equally about that amount of time, and just really enjoying and loving the community that we have grown here. We've managed to convince a couple of friends to stay here, to come move this side. One of the things that I really love about where we live and the life that we've brought is whenever we have friends from out of town come in, we decide to walk them around our little neighborhood, show them the cute little spots like the press down the road. One of my favorite places to go to with friends, if it's in the evening, Fitzgerald and Faulkner, when you're in there, you forget where you are. It's a very cozy environment, which sort of inspired the room that we're in as we're slowly building that to it. And during the day, a new store that I found, which has been here for about a year now, Sile Tea Room, which is just this beautiful place to bring friends over. I can be by myself or do some crafts with friends and have incredible tea.
One of the things that really was wonderful coming to this community was when we lived in our first house on Oakley Street, the house where we could literally plug in the vacuum and vacuum the entire home.
The best part about the house?
Yeah. So having little get-togethers there, even though the house was small, the community was big, we'd still have parties with 40, 50 people in the backyard, and just, a potluck with friends and family and, old classmates and all this kind of stuff. And even though, I didn't grow up here, you didn't grow up here, but we were able to build that community and have people come together around us supporting what we were doing, and we were supporting what they were doing.
Yeah, and something about that community as well is this county or this city, we are able to have that intergenerational relationship with people younger than us, people older than us, people in different walks of life, people who are in construction, or they're working in a dentist office, or they're working in the service industry, like all across. And once you find that community, you find that very strong, loyal community, and that's something that I think we've both enjoyed and benefited from, that we could give back and also receive as well.
Yeah, I think, a memorable experience for me seeing you kind of connect with people in this community was your intergenerational sleepover concept. Yes. So probably like our 5th or 6th year living here, you brought this idea of having an intergenerational sleepover where women from across the community could come together from all ages and sleep at our house, which essentially for me just meant go find somewhere else to sleep that night.
Yeah.
And I think, if I remember correctly, like the youngest girl who was there was maybe 6.
Yeah, she was 6 years old.
And then you had some folks there in their, 70s?
They were close to 70, yeah. So we spanned, and there was about 40 of them, maybe 20 of them spent the night, but to see a whole bunch of women, majority of them were in this area wanting to come together pre-COVID.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
One of the really neat things about Alamance County is its rich history going back to being the textile capital of the world, which is crazy. NAFTA has come along and gone, but now in 2025, we have all of the leftover kind of infrastructure from that. We're no longer the textile capital of the world. We do still have some active textile in the area, but we have all of the rail, all of the highway, access to ports, a huge amount of water and electric infrastructure in this area. And that's just such a neat resource. And now that, Alamance County has, kind of started rebuilding a lot of these places, we have these beautiful old, mills that have been converted into living space and into, retail space, and make for really fun places to go and hang out.
Yeah, I think people are still trying to find that balance of tapping into preserving some of that history that is there, but also seeing the opportunity that we have to take something maybe not necessarily old, but take something that hasn't been used or utilized in such a long time and turn that into something beautiful that people could use. And the resources are abundant, like you mentioned. I mean, Burlington itself, with the access to water that it has been pumping it out to neighboring cities to help them out, and they still have a surplus more. A whole lot of land that people have access to that they could build their family community or build commercial buildings as well. There's just so much to do.
And farming is still thriving.
Yeah.
For folks that don't know, we have 40 and 85 that come together in Alamance County. And so one of those highways goes all the way north and all the way south, and then the other highway goes all the way east and all the way west across the entire country. And so in North Carolina, we are the only county of 100 counties that has both highways intersecting throughout the entire county. And so what that means is we get a lot of trade, a lot of commerce, and a lot of industry going through our community, which leads to a really strong economic infrastructure. And from the building perspective, I love that because we get commercial clients, we get residential clients, we get folks that are moving here for a job, we get folks that are wanting to upgrade and remodel and do additions and all kinds of stuff. So it's great for business, and then for our lifestyle, which as you get to know us on these different videos we do, you'll learn we love traveling. We met while I was traveling, and we've continued traveling throughout our relationship. And so it's not uncommon for us to leave Graham, which is one of the cities within Alamance County, jump on the highway, which is only a few minutes down the road, and head to Durham, which is only 30 minutes away, or Chapel Hill, which is about 25 minutes away, Greensboro, which is about 25 minutes away, or a smaller town like a Hillsboro or a Saxbahaw, which are 20-minute drives. And I think that Alamance County in North Carolina is a hidden gem. North Carolina in general is amazing, but Alamance County within North Carolina is a hidden gem because we are centrally located and we can get to all these different places.
Everything that you've said completely hits the nail on the head, which is why a lot of people end up becoming more attracted to Alamance County. We're centrally located to these big hubs where people can come here and live more affordably compared to your Greensboro, your Winston-Salem, your Charlottes, or your Raleigh, your Durham, and your Chapel Hill. That life is more affordable. They have larger properties for the same price, if not cheaper property taxes. And if it does only take you 30 minutes to get to those places, when you're even living in those cities, the traffic, it'll take you even 30 minutes to get there.
Yeah. I think every time we go to New York or another big city and we're going from one borough to another and it takes us that 40 or 50 minutes to get from place to place, it's a good memory of thinking, okay, where we live in Alamance County, when Alamance County starts to feel a little bit small, we can in the same amount of time get to that Durham or the Raleigh or wherever it is.
And it's a nice place where the pace of life is still a little bit slower compared to that. So if you're looking to go for hikes or you're looking for good community events, that is slowly picking up and bringing people out there. I mean, in Graham, we have events at least once a month in the center where people are either showing off old classic cars, or we're having a splash of summer. Or you can go into Burlington and be a part of their Fourth Fridays where they're doing art places. So we still have a lot of activity that people just don't know about. And to be honest, for the first few years, I didn't even know about it until I started exploring our hometown.
A lot of that is in part to some of the different leaders in this community who have gotten us involved with things like the Main Street programs and connecting us to other communities and resources. I think about our farmers markets, loving going to our farmers markets and the different food truck pop-ups and things like that.
No place is perfect. And as a community, we still have a long way to go, but we're going there. There's people who are so invested, people who are from Alamance County who invested in seeing it grow to be even better than it was, and people who are coming from outside of Alamance County who see the potential that it has and want to keep putting efforts to make it better.
Just to throw some numbers on some of this, if you're thinking about, nationally, these are just ballpark numbers that are somewhat current to this time. The average house costs around $400,000, median house cost. In Alamance County, it's a little bit closer to that $350,000 range. In, like a downtown Raleigh, that's going to go up. In Alamance County, that comes down. And so you do get more bang for your buck here. You do have the lower taxes like you were talking about. Cost of living is a little bit lower, so food's going to be a little bit more affordable. But, I don't think there's that much loss when it comes to like lifestyle, enjoyment. You said slower pace of life. I like to think balanced pace of life where, we still are, 30, 45 minutes away from the airport. So when we get that itch, we can be gone and off to the next thing. But for the most part, we get a pretty relaxed lifestyle. At Roll Construction, we have clients that move here and ask us to build a beautiful home for them. One specifically comes to mind that moved here from Raleigh and had this dream of building a modern home and wanting to build her last home, and came to us. She had this very nice lot that she found very affordably. And, showed us this house plan. We went through the entire process with her and finally got to a point where we agreed on price, had gone through all the selections process, agreed on what that was going to look like. And the entire time we were building with her, just kind of hand in glove, and comparing that to where she was coming from and what she was going to get here, she was just, she kept kind of talking about walkability to parks and access to good food and access to, just the outdoors and nature, versus where she was coming from, where it was a little bit more traffic, a little more hustle and bustle.
And a bit more expensive. I think those are the stories that I love hearing, where people have not only taken the time to research where they want to be, what kind of house they want to build, and what builder they want to work with. And we get to be a part of their lives in such an intimate way that not a lot of people get. Because, for her, this is what she's thinking, her last house that she wants to spend the next few years, decades in. And that is very special to be a part of that.
We get to see other people becoming passionate about this community, and it kind of, reinvigorates our interest and passion about Alamance County. And, like you said earlier, one of the things that we love doing is trying to talk our friends into moving to Alamance County, which was recently successful. Some of our friends moved just down the street and are starting a small business here. And so, I think it's really fun to be a small business owner, to be a builder and help build the community that we love. One of the things we tell clients, especially commercial clients, is the reason we do economic development, the reason that we get into some of these building projects, is we want to live in a community where we're making it a better place day in and day out, and that we love living here more tomorrow than we do today.
Growing up, I grew up more in the city. I am very much a city girl, and I still do love our city. And you're very much country. And Alamance was just the thing that was the good medium where I could still be connected to people and the stores and the shops and build those relationships, and not be completely out there rural. And I think my advice to people, especially who are doing that shift, is you can find your communities, you can find those stores, those mom and pop stores, or you can find those relationships. It does take some time, but we're out there. There's not just gonna be you. I started off that way, and I'm building that community, and it still feels like I am creating my home.
What would you say are some of the challenges going from city living into I would not call this rural, but I would say like smaller town living.
One of the biggest ones is food. Is not scarce, but there's not a big diversity of food in the area that we live in. It is slowly picking up, and I think with diversity of food, we need the diversity of people as well who have different lived experiences. And Alamance County is starting to embrace those individuals that are actually here, because what I start to learn is that a lot of those different communities and different people end up working outside of Alamance County and coming back and just spending the night here. And as we start creating more opportunities that people can be those business owners or can be innovators and those builders and creators in their own county, the better the food will be, the better the community will be, the better the decisions will be. And I guess maybe selfishly, I want more people to be here or to experience that so that I can have better food.
So food fixes everything.
Yeah, food fixes everything.
That's all we've got today, but I hope that you've enjoyed us talking about Alamance County, the place that we call home, and we're building rural construction.
You know what to do. Like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, because next time we're going to be talking about the non-negotiables when buying or building your new home.